Dope Discussions Podcast. Dope discussions, gated Erica woke discussions. Mob ties, how they rock and think they both was cousins. Gifting you with their words so you might know you something. Just go and look for them live, they do it every Sunday. Every Sunday.
And we gon' bring you that dope.
And we gon' bring you that dope. It's Gator Beater, baby. Man, state to state, baby, coast to coast. Like the fire, baby, spark to Joe.
And we gon' bring you that dope.
Come talk with Erica, man, talk with G. And all you gotta do is talk with me.
And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope.
Yo, what's up?
What up, everybody? What's happening? I had to wonder. I was like, you look like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Got caught off guard.
Oh, yeah. I had to make a wardrobe change a little while ago. I was getting hot. I was like, you know what? Let me take this off right quick. Let me go ahead and start
Okay.
this nice Dope Discussions merchandise for our first
Yes.
episode being YouTube exclusive.
Exclusively YouTube. Good evening, Pamela. Yes, that's one of our Facebook friends and family from Dope Discussions, and she has carried on over to YouTube. So thank you, Pam.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Share it out to your family and friends.
How you been doing, Gator?
I've been doing okay. This has been a week, but there's always a week. The only thing that I'm really having an issue with this week is the pollen. It kind of sprung a little bit in Atlanta, and everything is straight up yellow around here. So it looks like a bunch of kids was on the sidewalk playing with chalk. So it gets itchy, and like I don't have allergies bad, but like it'll get on my skin, and I'll be like, ugh.
Yes.
So
I noticed that one morning my eyes were just continuously itching, and no matter how much I rubbed them, they kept itching, and that's when it hit me. I was like, it got to be that pollen. During this time of the year, I don't even wash my car because it don't make any sense.
Look, I have to wash it, but if I ain't have to wash it, trust me, I wouldn't. You know, it'd be bad. I'd be praying for rain. It's been raining all day today, though, so it's cool. You got little yellow trails all over the city.
Exactly. It just makes it worse, really. Pollen is the devil's dust. Yes, Pam, I agree.
I completely agree. It is definitely the devil's dust.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in and joining us for another Sunday Dope Discussion. We have an awesome show for y'all today. We got a lineup of panelists. We have some male and female guests who are going to join us today. And we are going to be talking about dating. Do you think successful women are arrogant in dating? You know, it's interesting. I saw a discussion about this about a week ago, where there was men and women, and they were talking about how successful women have to be, you know, really cutthroat and, you know, aggressive in their business and in their careers in order to keep up with the men. And they were saying a lot of times it carries over into their dating life and into their attitudes when dating, because they don't know how to turn it off and how to dial it back. But from the other end, I hear women saying that even when they downplay their success or when they don't lead with that, just simply by the man knowing how successful they are, it's kind of like they're uncomfortable and they don't really know how to interact or approach a woman who is successful, you know, in business and finance. So
yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that, especially that first point. I see that a lot, where being successful in business does take a certain amount of drive and does take a certain amount of moxie. So men use those two particular skills in dating as well. Women don't normally use those in dating, but I guess if you have to do that in the business world, it kind of does have to carry over because you're putting so much effort into building your business and to doing things a certain way. Most of those actions that you do are repetitive. They're things that you do in all things. It's a viewpoint that you have for every single situation. Unfortunately, dating is a situation that viewpoint may not be as valued.
Yeah, men say they want, independent, strong woman on one hand, but then they also want you to be soft and meek and how can you have it both ways?
Yeah.
So we're gonna
That can be
talk about
challenging.
that. Yes, we're gonna talk about that. We got some commenters already chiming in, so we're definitely gonna get to y'all's comments. But before we bring out our guests, I just want to shout out my sister Keatrice Keys, and I got this T-shirt from her website today, and it says "His life saved my life."
Oh wow, I like it. I like it.
Yes, she has some awesome T-shirts on her. She has a T-shirt gift shop. And there's all kinds of different, really pretty, faith-based T-shirts. So y'all go check that out. Her website is K Majestic Couture, and it's all K's. K Majestic Couture, and the couture is also a K. You go check her website out because she has some real nice T-shirts on there. Oh, yeah. So let's see. Without further ado, let's see who we got in the comments. Hey, Chats and Vibes with Miss T.
Miss T, what's going on, ma'am?
We definitely want y'all to chime in on this conversation tonight. Hey, Tashira. Yeah, we move, girl. We move, girl.
We move. But we glad to see you found us.
Yes. All right. So let's go ahead and bring out our guests. First up on our lineup is always, ladies first, ladies first. Ladies first, ladies first. Hey, beautiful lady, why don't you holler at the people? Tell the Dope Discussions listeners and viewers who you are.
Well, what's bossing, everybody? I am Kaylee. You can call me the R&B diva chick of Mississippi, and I am a lover of all things boss.
And baby, that voice is on point.
Yes. I love it.
Yes.
The hair too. I love the hair too. Gosh.
Yes. Smooth like silk. Yes. All right. Our next beautiful lady. Well, do you have a podcast, right?
I do. I also have a podcast with my mom. It is called Check In, Check Out the Podcast. We discuss social issues, personal issues, just anything that needs a shout out, a voice to sound off.
All right. Awesome. All right. Our next lady on the stage, we got Miss McKinney. Porch Time with Miss McKinney. Hey, girl.
How's everybody today?
We good. How you doing?
Doing good.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for joining us, and tell everybody who you are. Tell them about your platform, your podcast.
So I am Miss McKinney, and I have a podcast. It is Porch Time with Miss McKinney. We've been doing well. Miss Erica was on there with us, and we had a good time talking about colorism. So you guys, please go and check me out. I don't know if I said it or not, but you can call me Miss McKinney.
Miss McKinney, if you're nasty.
Don't forget the miss.
Yes. All right. Our next beautiful lady coming to the stage is Miss Akila. Hey, Akila.
Hey, how everybody doing?
Good. Good evening. How are you?
Good. I am Akila. I'm the host of 30 Something and Virgin, where we talk about life, its quirks, and all the shit we're on the verge of.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like.
I love it. Well, thank y'all so much for hanging out with Dope Discussions today. We're going to have some fun with this topic. All right. So, gentlemen, we have some gentlemen backstage. We're going to bring them out. We got Mr. Brian Matthews What's up, Brian?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Brian Matthews. I can say it here without getting blocked like YouTube or Facebook. The Ugly Black Man, the Ugly Black Man podcast, of course. Hey, I am so glad to be here. I mean, from the last time that y'all had me on, this is like way over the top. I'm loving it.
Yes. Thank you for joining us again. We're building a family, the Pod Squad family.
Yeah. The virtual congregation, as we like to call it.
All right. Our final guest, last but not least, we got Mr. Deshaun in the house. We're going to bring out Mr. Deshaun.
What's going on, y'all? Thank you for having me on. And I'm glad we got Brian on the show because I thought it was going to be all ladies. And I'm like, oh, here we go. They set me up, dog. Oh, man, I'm leaving. I'm going backstage already now. Good to see everybody. I'm the co-founder of Urban Embodiment with my partner, Lakeisha. We do singles events all over Michigan and Ohio. We are the creators of Find a Base Speed Dating. We have singles groups called Singles Dating in Detroit, Singles Dating in Ohio, Singles Dating in Lansing. So we take care of all the single people in the world.
Yes.
That's what we do. Derek Jackson, I'm glad you out the way. Now it's my turn to take over. And I ain't gonna get caught up, dog. You did.
Yes.
Right. And look, if y'all have never met Whip, if y'all have never heard anything that he has done, see that energy right there? That's him 24/7. So
I love
it, man. That's a fact.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us. We're gonna get into this topic tonight. You know, I'm rubbing hands like Birdman. You know, this gonna be good. All right, so we're going to start off with some of the ladies. So the topic of the night is, do you think successful women are arrogant in dating? Like, do you think that's something that we have to have? Do you think that's something that we have learned, have not learned how to turn it off and turn it on yet when it comes to dating? Let's start out with Kaylee.
Well, do we have to? We shouldn't have to, but sometimes we do. Just as in the workplace, sometimes you have to put on that brave face and, you know, be a little bit tougher to be heard, to be seen. Sometimes it's the same way when you're going out dating because of the expectations that person may have or what they may not be used to. You know, you just have to be heard a little bit more.
Right. How about you, Miss McKinney? What do you think about successful single women dating? Do you think we need a little aggression or do we need to just come in real soft and meek?
I don't think that you can turn your aggression off and on. So I'm going to say that it's not really arrogance. It's just being misunderstood. When you're dealing with someone who is aggressive and a go-getter, you can't really turn those things off and on. And if that's what attracted you to them, then I don't see why you would want them to.
All right. Yes. What do you think, Akila? Have you ever been accused of being an arrogant single woman in dating? Has a man ever accused you of being arrogant?
He didn't say I was arrogant. He was more or less more intimidated by me. And I think for me, what it seems or what it looks like is that it's more of a reflection of them than it is us. And unfortunately, we get drawn into that, oh, she's too much, her ball's bigger than mine thing. And all when, you know, that's really not the case. It's just that I'm a strong woman. Like, I came from your ribs, so I'm supposed to protect you. Right. So I have to be strong. And most times a lot of men have been coddled by their moms and other women. So then that makes it tough for a strong woman to come up and be herself. It's not necessarily that I have to turn off my aggression. Aggression isn't a bad thing as long as I'm not trying to fight or hurt anybody. Me being aggressive at trying to start a business or moving up the ladder or aggressively pursuing you, if that's what I wanted to do, shouldn't be something that's looked down upon. So I think it's more of like them just being intimidated and also being a little bit coddled. And not all men are like that, but most sometimes are.
Okay. Well, let's hear from the fellas. Let me go over here to Deshaun. Deshaun, have you ever encountered an arrogant woman when you were dating, single and dating?
See, we need to change the name of the show to Cap or No Cap because there's a lot of cap going on right now. Ladies, yes, they are very arrogant. And I'm not even going to say it's a bad thing, because if you're a boss out here, you definitely should do your thing. You should not deal with anything less. The problem, and you stated earlier, they take that from their job to the crib. Because then we got the whole, I can't let that man be a leader because he's not doing A, B, C, or D. Well, that's where the problem is starting right now. Let me be that man when I'm in the crib. Baby, you got the whole world when you at your job, but come on now, let's do it together. So to answer your question, yes, successful women can be too arrogant. And the fact is, it's not about them being coddled by their mama. The problem is, them women want to be your mama. That's what the problem is. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Ugly Black Man, what you think about it? Have you ever encountered some single successful women and they were kind of arrogant, or were you just intimidated?
First of all, never been intimidated. Can't be an alpha male. This is not going to happen. But yes, I actually have. But you have to look at it in this perspective, and I'm going to go from the men perspective first. I was in the military 24 years, went to combat. I expected whoever was left back taking care of my home to be a strong woman. She has to be a strong woman, because one, she has to understand that her husband is in the line of fire. He's in duty. He's in combat. He may not come back. Expectations have to be met. So when he comes back, he also has to understand she's been the boss of that house. So that's when you have to have an adjustment of power. But yes, I have run into that situation. And me, I just laugh at it because I know I'm an alpha male. So I'm like this. You want to be a boss? When they break the door down, you go first.
Oh gosh.
I'm just saying, they break the door down, you go first. Let's see how you handle that. I'll come behind you.
Talk to him, man.
What you think, Gator?
Hey, look, they just said everything that I was thinking. So I just sat back and smiled like
I want to hear from your lips.
So here's the scenario. This is the scenario. So I think that there are many women who have been programmed in this. I don't need a man. I am, completely independent, and don't know how to balance those emotions. Like men, we're expected to be, hard, but also sensitive to certain things. Well, we expect that balance from women as well. And that's where a lot of the confusion lies, because there's only a lot of women only have that one speed, and they will continue on that particular speed, even in moments when we need that sensitivity, when we need that tenderness. They're still going 100 miles in the direction of aggression. And I think that can be a problem. Some women are arrogant. Some women, if you do show any sign of being lesser than them, whether it be financially, whether it be emotionally, whether it be, attractiveness, some women can look down on you and use that as, basically a way to put you down. So to answer the question, I've run into quite a few arrogant women, or successful women that were arrogant as well. It's not all of them, but they got some out there that be peeking out.
Okay. So I have heard this statement being made a lot where, women who have, built a career for themselves or built a business for themselves, they say that they don't want to date anyone who is financially below their level. They want somebody on their level or higher. Is that a statement that offends men? Do you men get offended when you hear a woman say that?
Nope.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, if again, equally yoked is a real thing. So I'm totally with that, and again, that man making more money or whatever, okay, let him be the leader, quote unquote, financially. But remember that word I just said again, lead the family. You understand what I'm talking about? So no, that's not an issue at all. But if she want to make more money than me too, I wouldn't be mad either. But go ahead.
Well, Kaylee, I want to go to you. So is that something that you ascribe to? Do you feel like when you're dating a man, he should be at least on your level or higher when it comes to finances, when it comes to, success? or will you work? What are you willing to work with somebody who's not quite where you are yet?
That's always been my mindset. It financially, you don't have to match me, but your drive, your determination, you have to have goals. You have to have some type of ambition. I will be there to support you 100%. You know, that's where I've had a little bit of disconnect with certain people. Their drive doesn't match mine, so that's a problem.
Okay. What about you, Miss McKinney?
So, oh my gosh, I want to touch on the equally yoked because that was awesome. You do have to study to show thyself approved. And so understanding what equally yoked means was important to me. So basically the yoke was an old cattle prod, and the herder, whatever, used it to match up the cattle correctly. So you wouldn't put two strong ones together because one might break the other one's back. You wouldn't put a slow one, I guess a slow, strong one. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Slow and strong with maybe slender and weak, because that could, hurt one or the other. So it's important that you match each other up. So when thinking about whether or not I would date someone and thinking about whether they're on my level or not, absolutely not, because where he's weak, I may be strong, and vice versa. And I think that's what's going to make it work the best.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Long-winded. I'm sorry.
No. You was perfect. What about you, Miss Akila? How you feel about that statement?
I totally agree with both of the ladies. I think that most of my dating life, I've always been cool with if I'm making more money than the person or whatever. I know that is an issue, though. That turns into an issue for a lot of men, and that stops them from leading per se. And I don't want to say stop, but it affects their leading, right? Because they sometimes think like, oh, well, she makes the money or whatever, XYZ, and that sort of does something to them. But I am all for being someone's support system if they have a hustle, if their actions are showing like they show and prove like, oh, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. I am really supportive in that. We don't have to have the same finances because, again, as she just stated, I'm going to pick you up where you fall down. But there has to be that drive and that push. And I have to know that my partner is really my partner, right? Like I got to really be able to trust that if I'm picking up this slack, that you're doing what needs to be done to ensure that we're good on the opposite end.
I like it. All right, let me go to one of the fellows. Let me go back over here to Brian. Brian, so I hear a lot of single successful women say they have so many problems, even when they downplay their success or even hide their success. Once the man finds out, just in passing and just getting to know them, they feel like the energy changes, it kind of shifts, and then he starts to kind of back away and get kind of distant, just simply because he knows how successful she is. Is that an issue of him being confident? Being intimidated and not as confident enough? Because a lot of men feel like their identity is built in with their ability to be able to provide. And then that translates into them being able to lead the woman. So if they feel like she's ahead of them in that area, they're kind of intimidated by that. Is that something that she can still work with that man on, or she should just let him go?
Personally, if he does feel that way, then she needs to let him go. It's an insecurity within that man himself. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I've come to learn or understand, when you have a woman she's very successful, she's aggressive in the business field, she's not actually going to gravitate to just as strong as a male personality. She's going to gravitate to someone who may have, I'm not saying they're feminine, but they will have some feminine traits, submissive traits. They'll be more likely to be more submissive. And so therefore, that is what she's actually opening up. So he may not see it, he may not know it, but she sees it. She understands the gravity of what she's looking for. Because an alpha male, a person who is successful, maybe he's not as successful, but he has drive. He's not, doesn't matter what she has. There is no fear factor there. It can't be, because when you are the leader leads, regardless of whoever. You have your lions. The lions go out on a hunt. The women are the ones who go on the hunt. The male lions goes out, but who takes care of the pride? The women. You got to have that strong woman. Me, I like a strong woman, and I'm not intimidated by it. And honestly, the way I handle it when it gets a little bit too mouthy, I laugh. I laugh. And these are my exact words. You think you're in charge. I do what I want when I want, but you think you're in charge. And it usually works as long as that belief is there. But once again, that's not every man. You know, you do have some that may become submissive, and it works for them. Mm-hmm. You know, me myself, I have no problem with it. I've had successful women take care of me. They buy me things, they've done things for me. You know, mm-hmm. I've never had to show a weakness. Now, there was a situation where I said, well, maybe I'll spend about $100 or so on you. And so that's all I'm worth is 100. How about 2? Well, then go ahead and go find you 2. Because I'm not going to go outside that boundary. Because once again, we're setting up who's going to be making the decisions. Like I said, who's going to say, what are we going to have for dinner, dear? What are we going to eat? You know, that kind of situation. So once again, that's just me. Not all men, but I do believe what they do gravitate towards is someone that can become submissive.
Okay. Deshaun, I saw you shaking your head in the back. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of that. Like I said, we run singles events here in the Michigan area. We have over 3,000 singles, and 65% of them are women 35 and up. And a lot of them are successful business women, especially the ones that come to our speed dating events. And he's absolutely right. A lot of those women have in the past, purposely, I'm talking about doctors and everything like that, dated guys that were, and I don't like this term, but I'm going to say it for right here, less than them. And like you said, beta men. The problem with that is this. You're already telling that man what he's going to do, whatever. Literally, I've heard a woman say they necessarily don't want to date a guy that's on their level or higher because they're intimidated. Even though she's a strong woman, she's intimidated because that man got tons of women that's already available and accessible to him. So he can leave whenever he wants to. You get a weaker man, I mean, he can't really go nowhere because he kind of needs what you're doing for him. You see what I'm saying? So the brother was absolutely right about that. And going back to would it bother a strong man? Not at all. Because, again, when you're securing yourself, baby, we all say we like Barack and Michelle. We all say relationship goals for J and B or whoever else. Well, that entails both of us being awesome individuals. You see what I'm saying? So a strong man, a secure man has no problem with that. A secure man has no problem with 100 dudes hitting like on his girl picture because he knows that's him. And vice versa. You see what I'm saying? So to answer your question, a strong man, it doesn't work anyway. The problem is a lot of times those women are getting men that are way below their level.
Mm-hmm. Gator, you got something to add?
I think Brian hit it on the head when he talked about insecurity. I think a lot of guys do. If you have guys that have that problem, it's really a problem with them. It's insecurity in them. You know, there's no way that I'm going to be intimidated by a woman that breathes the same air as me. I don't care if she makes $1 million a year or $10 million a year more than I do. I don't see why some men feel intimidated. Maybe they feel like they will become the beta in a scenario like that. But I feel personally like, I mean, hey, you make more money. That's great. We gonna do this together. You know, I feel like that helps both of us. So yeah, I don't see the intimidation factor at all. You know, the whole thing is, you know, being secure, you know, and there's a lot of men out there who are a little bit insecure when it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, here's a misconception that I think a lot of people have. Women who are strong and successful in their businesses, the world thinks that's something that we actually want it to be. Like that's something that we choose to walk around with our armor on all day and be strong, when in actuality that armor is very heavy and we want to lay it down. But sometimes we encounter men and we don't feel safe and we don't feel secure enough to lay that armor down with him. So we're trying to figure out, is it his job to make us feel secure enough to where we can lay it down? Or are we just supposed to, you know, have that faith and just lay it down and hope that he's the kind of person that will make us feel safe enough? You know, so is it the man's responsibility or is it ours? Which comes first? Who want to jump in and answer that? Who want to Okay.
Look,
yes.
Look, before I said anything, go ahead now.
Come on, sister. What you got?
So I totally agree with what you're saying, and I feel like a point that I had just wrote down was I have to feel comfortable with you in order to take off my cape and lay it down and let you lead. We have to feel protected. And that's, to be honest, that's on both sides, right? Especially when you're dating somebody and getting to know somebody. But there has to be some level of protection or security there in order for me to lighten my load. Women don't walk around, like you said, we're not trying to be the leaders. We can be the leaders in the relationships in certain areas, but that's not what we're demanding or what we want to do. But we do it because when you get into those things, and I've dated an alpha male, he just, like the last two gentlemen said, he just had certain insecurities because where he was weak, I attempted to pick up, and it sort of like pushed, it sort of like made him step back. Like, oh no, like I don't want you to do that. And then after we broke up and we talked about different stuff, I was like, well, I just did it because I just assumed as your better half that I should step in and do X, Y, and Z. But he hadn't seen a relationship like that. He hadn't seen that. He had seen other stuff. So for him, it was like, I need to push her back. But I would love to take off my cape and throw this S off my chest and just put on a nice little dress and just walk calm and meek as they want me to. But if I don't feel safe and protected and secure with you, I'm not going to do it.
Yes, ma'am. Who wants to go next?
Can I ask a question behind that real quick though? A follow-up. You just said that. And my quick statement is that if y'all rocking with somebody and you don't feel secure, leave. Don't wait. Go. That's number one. Because then we end up hearing stories 3 years from now, and we talking bad about that dude when we could have got out when the flag was there a month or 2 months in. But my question is this though: how long does it take you, ladies, to feel secure with the gentleman that y'all meet? Is it after a month, 2 months, 6 months? When do you know?
I think the timing can be different, and the timing can be condensed. That all depends on his consistency. Because if he gives me 2 good weeks and then he's MIA or he's acting different on the 3rd week, but then he come back on the 4th week and he want to pick back up with that consistency. Now I'm like, I got to start all back over, sir, because you fell off 1 week. So we need that consistency, over a certain time frame. And then we can probably drop that armor a little bit faster.
Now, with that being said, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Can I just want to add? I'm so sorry. But also, I think that comes into play with thinking about it in different aspects, right? Because I might feel safe with sharing certain parts of me with you, but I haven't gotten to other areas to let down certain guards, right? So I think that plays a part, right? Like I might feel safe with sharing secrets with you about what's happening at work, but right now I don't feel comfortable taking off my wig right now in front of you.
Right.
I don't see these cornrows yet, you know what I'm saying? But then, you start saying, oh, but now, okay, you can see the cornrows. You get what I'm saying? Because with that guy, I felt really comfortable after the first 2 or 3 months. But there were certain other things where I saw that he seemed to not want to push where I pushed just because I was there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I feel that. But now you said previously, you did 2, 3 good weeks, then he falls off 1. Now he got to restart. Now, isn't that an issue though? Because in all relationships, there's going to be a time where a guy something happens. Does that mean he wasn't a person that could secure you? He just made a mistake. Maybe as the woman that supports him and is securing him, you say, well, baby, you made a mistake. You know what? I'm with you. I know you made a decision. It wasn't the right one, but it don't matter. I love you to death. I'm still with you. I'm rocking with you. You know what I'm saying? So maybe instead of just saying, I got to start over, you rubbing his back, and now he does not feel bad about making a mistake, and now he's stronger and making even better decisions for y'all.
Well, that depends. Now, if it's in the beginning stages, you're still on probation, sir. You can't come in here and you can't even do that on somebody's job. You can't go in there for 2 good weeks and then start showing up late every day and you still on probation. They're going to be like, when your 90 days is up, you out of here.
Yeah, I think it depends on what it is, what the offense, as you say, is. It depends on that. It depends on the person's character and their vibe as well, on how you feel safe or how soon you feel safe.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I want to say is to just be prayerful about who you're dating and when you're dating, so that when these situations happen, you know, if it's okay, I need to cut my losses and get out, or okay, he made a mistake and we need to move forward. What's the word I'm looking for? Put some thought process behind who you date, what you're looking for in the future, and that cuts down. I found that cuts down a lot on some of the things that you go through.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I've said many times on this show, a lot of times when you see that red flag, we should interpret that as a checkered flag. As Whip was saying a little while ago, hey, look, you know, if you start to see things like this in the beginning, it's time to go. Don't, you know, do not pass go, do not collect $200, especially in the beginning probation stages of a relationship. So if you're seeing that this man from the get-go, you're 3 weeks into the relationship and you see that he's already, you know, inconsistent with, you know, his time or when he's calling and things like that, it may be time to go ahead and cut that loss before it becomes a bigger issue down the line. So we won't even have to have discussions like this.
Right.
Yeah, they get three strikes. You get 3 strikes with me.
Throughout the whole relationship? Lord, baby, you better get
no.
In the beginning stages, like if you're, you know, approaching me, you get 3 strikes before you can go any further. Like I've had one to strike out in one day, so you know.
Wow, 3 times in one day?
Golly.
Oh, baby.
It wasn't a strike, girl. It was a foul ball. You got to give him another chance, man.
Oh, no.
Only a foul ball.
Oh, no.
Brian, you dropped off when we were asking the last question, but yeah, I wanted to get your input on that. So what we were talking about was sometimes women really want to, you know, be more open and let that guard down and let that armor down, but she has to have a certain level of trust and security with that man when she's getting to know him. So is it her responsibility to be more trusting, or is it his responsibility to show her that she's in a safe and secure place that she can do that?
It's his responsibility. I honestly say that if you want a open relationship, not as an open, but communication wise, and you want to be able to say, hey, I don't like this, or I don't like that, or I like this, or I appreciate this, you have to show a bit of vulnerability. You have to show that you're willing to share some things about yourself to her. So if she's seeing that you're showing something vulnerable about you, something that you probably wouldn't share with too many people, because you do go through that vetting process. Because I know for a fact that sometimes you don't make it past a chat. You know, we make it to the phone. I like this conversation. Let's see how it goes face to face. You know, and you're talking. You're trying to see what their response is, especially if you say, I'm going to share something really not so intimate, but to the point where I can gauge her reaction from it. So, yeah, show a little bit of vulnerability, see how that goes. Because ultimately, you know, if you walk around with your chest puffed out, what you hiding? You got to better show sometimes. There's a little bit of weakness there. Not too much. There's a little bit of vulnerability. That's where you come in and make, you know, lift me up. So that's just, I guess you could say that's the way I look at it. A little bit of vulnerability. You know, it goes a long way sometimes. It might take you a little bit further than you expect it to. But then again, out the door. 3 strikes real quick. So
3 strikes. So here's another thing that I've been hearing. Okay. So as much effort and time that women actually put into building their businesses and becoming successful, a lot of women lead with that in dating. Like when men are asking them who they are, you know, what are you about? They lead with their professional accomplishments, their businesses and stuff like that. So I hear a lot of men say they don't even care about that in a woman. That's not what they're really looking for. But I think sometimes in a woman's mind, we're trying to match what we want in a partner. And so what we're asking for is, if I'm bringing this to the table, this is what I want you to also be bringing to the table. But it kind of works counteractive with them, because a man is like, you know, that's a kind of turn off to me. I don't want to know about your business or how much money you make. I want to know about you on the inside. So Do you men agree with that or disagree?
I agree.
You agree?
I believe you keep that business, keep it out. I don't care about your business. Not that I don't care about it, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about me and you, not you, INC, LLC, whatever. That's your accomplishment. You got it. Rock on. I support you. But how's that going to help us grow? How are we going to move from here?
With that being said, I want to shout out the big homie Kevin Samuels. Y'all know him. He talks about that all the time. We don't get no Kevin Samuels love in this building. Okay, whatever. That's fine.
You might get tomatoes thrown at you right quick. Look, I'll be like, duck whip.
Well, I agree. A guy, truth be told, if he's in love with his woman, he digging her, it don't matter if she makes $500,000 a year or she don't make but 20. How many guys have told their woman that they love, girl, just go to school. Just go to school. Take care of the crib. I'll take care of everything. You understand what I'm talking about? So them leading with that, it really don't matter. But I have to say this, and fellas, I rock with the brothers all the time, but this is where we get kind of messed up. Because sometimes we do double talk ourselves. Because we'll say it don't matter, but then if we meet a woman that don't got nothing, we end up talking about her to our boys like, man, I'm tired of this little broke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where I will admit that sometimes us as fellas, we got to figure out what do we want. But to answer your initial question, if he really digging her, it ain't a big thing. You know, we want to talk about how are you with love? Like, do you reciprocate? You know what I'm saying? Do you have a lot of red flag? Do you have a lot of baggage that we can't even connect? You know what I'm saying? If I'm showing a lot of love to you, because there's women, as you know, that push away when they get a lot of love shown to them because of stuff that happened in their past. So that's the kind of stuff we really want to find out about and how thick she is. But that's a whole nother story. Go right ahead.
Have any of you ladies on the panel, have you found yourself being guilty of leading with that, of leading with, your career and business?
Definitely.
I have, but it's only because it's a part of me. I don't really do it to intimidate anyone. It's a part of me. This is what I do. Just like I was a single mom and my son is 21 and hi, Elijah, and all that good stuff. It's just a part of me. I don't do it to intimidate anyone. It's done just because we're getting to know each other. I'm telling you who I am. Everything is about me, and that just happens to be a part of it. I think people are confusing arrogance and aggression with maybe even just confidence sometimes.
I can agree. It is definitely a part of me. I am a music artist. I am a graphic designer. Those are things that I love. So I'm going to talk about it. As a person who is looking, if I'm looking for somebody, that's what I'm going to want you to support. You're going to have to understand that. So if it comes off that way as I'm trying to, throw it in the faces or whatever, that's not it. It's just the love for what I do. And I'm a firm believer in choosing a career field where you love what you do.
Yeah.
Right. What you think about it, Akilah?
I've never led with it. Just simply because most people that I've dated or dealt with, they've been more just intimidated by what they've heard. Like, I'm a loner. I have a group of friends that I kick it with, and that's it. And they're doctors, teachers, and engineers working those fields or whatever. And I think that has been something that's been more intimidating because the last date that I can remember going on, like I was sitting here trying to remember the conversation. When he asked me the first thing about me, I told him about my family. Right, because my family is what's most important. And I like to start off with that because if you think you're going to cut in the time with family or if you can't click with my family, then I know it's going to be an X for you. So I've never led with it, but I do know people that lead with it. And I don't think that there should be a problem just because, just like the lady said, it's just a part of who you are or what you do and what you're about. So you should be able to say that without someone being stressed out or being put aside because now you said that you're a successful singer or you're a successful store owner and you're trying to do X, Y, and Z. That should be something that sort of motivates you to want to talk to that person and get to know that person better to see how they did what they did and if you could get jiggy with whatever they're doing.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. Let's see. We got some comments out here. Tashura said that's interesting because I've had one to ask me how many damn TVs do I have.
So
what?
This is where we have to come up with the clarification. When we talk about men, when Brian and when Whip talks, when I talk, we talk about men. There's a lot of women out there who deal with those quote unquote F boys that's out there. Completely different monster. And a lot of women run into them because those guys have all the confidence in the world. See, you know, a lot of the alpha males, we have confidence, but we real selective in what we do. Not them guys. They come at y'all. Most of the guys that y'all talk about, when y'all like these men ain't nothing. No, they're not men. Those are the guys that y'all are talking about.
Talk to them, Gator. They'll be the guys to be at the gas station holding the door for them, saying something all the time. And they just, ooh, he said something to me. And they make a whole post on Facebook about what he said to them guys reply in the inbox with them other pics. You know what I'm talking about. That ain't us. That ain't us.
That's not us. No.
So I'm gonna do something here. I want to do this. I want the men. I want y'all to give the women some advice on how they can date better, or get better results in dating. And then I also want the women, from their perspective, to tell the men what they can improve on as far as dating and dating successful and single women out here. So I'm gonna let you fellas go first. Let's start with you, B. Give the women some dating advice.
Here we go. First things first. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes.
Okay.
Peel that onion to see what's on the inside, because there might be some things that you don't know or expect to know. I'll give a prime example. For me, everybody knows that I do a lot of sports and I look like a jock, but I also have a master's degree. And people don't realize I have a master's degree. In my sports line of work, I've been ranked #1 in the world. A lot of people don't know that. But the point of the matter is that all goes to that drive. And if you don't ask certain questions, or you don't sit there and just give them that opportunity, you'll never know. You just look at the aesthetics, or maybe, oh, he's okay, he's cute. Look what's on the inside. And the second thing, hey, if they sound superficial, all they can do is talk about themselves and all the great things that they've done, and there's nothing better than them, keep on going, because they're looking for the same thing, that short time moment. Look for somebody who's willing to have that deep conversation with you. Look for someone who's going to sit back and have a conversation with you. Go to a restaurant, have a drink, not Netflix and chill.
All
Just
right.
like you said, you got those boys, get the men.
Get the men. All right. What you got for us, Will?
Being a relationship expert that I am, I'm going to say this. Go to therapy. Get your head fixed. And I'm going to say that, and I'm saying that and being silly, but I'm being honest, though.
Yeah.
Get help. Because a lot of times, again, we have so much baggage from growing up, as little people to what we are right now, that we bring into every single relationship. So now you met this dope guy. Shout out to Dope Discussions. See how I tied that in.
Yes.
You got this dope guy, you know what I'm saying? But you so not used to it. This happened to me so many times. I go back to what I said earlier. You push away. You don't know how to receive love. I know a woman literally said she would be mean to a guy when she meets him. And if he stays, then I can rock with him. I don't like saying a crazy word, but that's crazy.
It is crazy.
That is fact crazy. So real talk, figure out what's going on with you, because it ain't nobody's job to save you. You know what I'm saying? You have to come in. Now, granted, we all got stuff we deal with, but you need to come into this situation bringing something to the table. And I ain't talking about finances, none of that. As a human being,
yes.
Now y'all can be two strong humans together. So that's what my take.
All right, Gator, what you got for the ladies?
Hey, main thing, and I said it earlier, man, watch the flags. That's the biggest thing, because there's many times when we're seeing what's going on. We're seeing the problems with somebody up front, but we're deciding that, oh, well, he's handsome enough, or he's successful enough, or, he, whatever, but don't ignore those red flags. A lot of times you can save yourself and them a lot of trouble by just killing that scenario before it even gets into its like secondary phase. That's my big thing. And trust your instinct, because at the end of the day, strengthening your own discernment, that discernment that you have will get you out of a lot of bad situations.
All right. Yes. All right. Miss McKinney, what dating advice do you have for the fellas?
I'm just sitting over here nodding my head going, amen. I agree with everything that they said. It is awesome. And the biggest part of that was being prayerful was important. And this dope discussion has showed me that I'm right on board. So I'm going to stick with the be prayerful, date with a purpose. If you're looking to get married, then look for a woman that is looking to get married. And again, be mindful, pay attention to the flags, like they said. But the one thing he said that was like, oh, hallelujah, discernment. And you can't get that if you don't talk to the good ones. So again, be prayerful, know what you're looking for, because that'll make it easier for both of you.
Yes, yes. Kaylee, what you got? What dating advice can you give to the fellas?
Use your words. Use your words. I can't stress that enough. I can't, be over here talking and you're not talking. So it's time to use your words. Also, when you're talking to each other, it's all about communication. Discuss intentions and expectations with each other. It should be an open space where you guys can do that. Also, as they said, pay attention to those signs. And if you need some additional assistance, go over to my YouTube channel, Kaylee the Boss, and check out how to spot a leech. How to spot a leech, because those are some of the things. If you're looking for someone who has some of the same things that you embody, you need to check out those signs. But yeah, use your words. It's okay to talk.
I love it. I love it. Keela, what dating advice would you give to the fellas?
Dating advice I would give to the fellas. First off, I love everything that everybody was saying. And I feel like it could go, especially for what the men were saying, could go both ways. Like men getting it, therapy and all of that help as well. But seriously though, because like you said, we all have childhood traumas that turn into adult problems that we take into relationships that cause those issues. But I think the biggest thing for me, the big three for me would be, one, go into it being who you are. Sometimes we show up to dates and different things in like this, in our presenter, like this is the person that we're going to present to you first, but instead, when you go on that first date or whatever it is, be who you are, be exactly who you are, be open, be honest, and communicate. And don't sell somebody a smoke show. Like I don't date to someone's potential, date to their reality. Like whoever they are, that's who they are. And if that person is somebody that you can get jiggy with, you see yourself building something with, like Kaylee said, like what are your intentions, and having those conversations, I think that's the big thing, and that's something that will help the relationship build and grow.
Oh, baby, y'all have dropped some gems tonight. Yes, I love it.
Definitely
I'm gonna go back and rewatch us tonight.
One thing that a lot of people on this panel have said too, and I think is worth reiterating, is that word therapy. And in the Black community, we consider that a bad word a lot of times. But for the women out there and the men especially, look into therapy, because sometimes you may have some hidden issues that you don't even realize is making your relationships toxic. So I think it's great that multiple people on this panel mentioned that word. And I think it's something that a lot of us need to look into.
Yes. Black people need therapy more than any other group of people in this country. We need therapy. We were born needing therapy because our parents passed their traumas on to us. So we all need therapy. So I thank you all so much. I appreciate it, y'all. I enjoyed y'all. This was awesome. This was fun. But before we get out of here, I want you all again to tell the viewers and listeners where they can follow you, contact you, listen to you more. So we're going to go around the table. We're going to start from the bottom. Brian, the ugly black man, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. And of course, you can find me on Anchor. On YouTube, all you gotta look for is according to B. Matthews. Psychologics is actually my quote unquote name on Facebook because they don't like the ugly black man, but it is the Ugly Black Man podcast. which is on Anchor, and you can find me on Anchor. I am your hood journalist. I do the guerrilla style journalist. I dig deep when nobody really wants to hear it, but I bring it with a purpose. Psychologist is just a word I made up. Even though you think it is one way, I twist it around and make you see the actual truth. All
right. Whip Deezy, tell the people where to find you.
You can follow me on Facebook. Just put in Deshaun Whipple. But I'm going to tell you, I'm always silly on there. So I'm always clown. If you like to laugh, follow me. Now, as far as the company, Urban Embodiment, we do all types of events. Like I said, we created Find a Base, speed dating. We've done parties, bus trips, all types of things. And we're on all platforms. Just put in Urban Embodiment, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you got, you can find us. And bring us to your city. Bring us to your city, man.
We need you. I know you're being humble. I know you're being humble, but there's something that's very important to me as well that you do, my brother.
Okay. Well, I wasn't gonna say because that's the other part of the website. But Gator actually was on it before. I'm also a former pro wrestler, so I have a wrestling podcast as well. Okay. So if you or any of your kids like wrestling, any of your family, tell them to check out the Whip Show. That's the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, aka the Whip Show. You can follow that too. So you want to find me teaching you how to do a relationship over here, Urban Embodiment. If you want me to teach you about entertainment, go to the Whip Show. You can get all of me, baby. You can get all of me.
I love it. All right, Akila, tell everybody where they can find you.
I'm sorry, he is hilarious.
Yes.
You can find me on Facebook at 30-something and Virgin. You can also find me on Anchor are all podcast platforms, 30-something and Virgin, or you can go to my website, AkilaMiles.com, and you can see everything that I do from there, from my boutique to the podcasting and all of that.
Awesome. Kaylee, tell the people where they can find you.
Well, you can just head on over to Kaylee the Boss on YouTube for music, advice, fun, and all things boss. If you are looking to get into social issues and personal issues, anything that needs a voice to sound off, head over to check out the podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can get your podcast. We're on there. If you want to follow me personally, my social media links are below. That's my tag on all social media platforms.
All right, awesome. And last but not least, Miss McKinney, tell the people where they can find you.
All right, so I am Miss McKinney, excuse me, I'm Miss McKinney, but we are Porch Time with Miss McKinney. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and anywhere that fine podcasts are played. We basically talk about everything on the porch, good old-fashioned porch talk right here with Miss McKinney. You guys, please be sure to come and follow us.
All right. Thank you all again. This was so awesome. I appreciate you all. You dropped some gems. This is one of my favorite episodes thus far. And usually when I have a panel of guests on, those are one of my favorite shows to do. Let's see if we got any comments. Talk to Q radio show is in the house and he's late as usual. Hey, thank you.
Fashionably late as usual.
Thank you, Miss T. Thank y'all all for rocking with us. This is our first official Dope Discussions only on YouTube. So we migrated from Facebook. So we're doing only YouTube. Look, Q said, is that Whip Dog up there?
What's happening, man? What's the word? And you know what? Can I say one thing too?
Yes.
You know what? And I'm a fan. Kaylee's voice is amazing. I'm a fan, man. Her voice is amazing. Shout out to you, Kaylee.
Just her speaking voice is beautiful. So I know how she sounds when she sings, baby.
Well, y'all definitely check out my mini tape. My mini tape releases April the 3rd. So y'all stay tuned. Follow me on my social media so y'all can be the first ones to hear it.
Okay. I am. I'm definitely, and I want an autograph too.
Oh yeah, definitely got to get it autographed.
Yes. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. This was another Dope Discussions. We will see y'all again What's that? Oh, your wrestling belt?
It's my whip dog. I'm gonna go ahead and show it up to it. There you go.
Official.
Official like a whistle.
Yeah.
See y'all here again next Sunday, same place, same time, and we are out. Y'all, everybody hang tight before y'all leave. I want to talk to y'all after the show.